Hey, y'all ever been scammed before? I have. More on that later. I just discovered a new way to make millennials feel old. I was born in 1990, right? So get this, the modern internet is only 7 years older than I am. Stop typing that comment. I said modern. That means anybody in Gen X actually remembers that being rolled out to the public. Kind of like us and iPhones. What else we got? Social media, Airbnb, Uber. It's mostly apps. We work. All those depend on the internet and stand on the shoulders of things Gen X invented. Y'all kind of win this one. Consolation prize. We're more tech savvy than y'all. I got my first phone in middle school, and it was a brick with Snake on it. I remember playing ball outside every single day before and after MySpace happened. So I was still able to experience childhood without crippling insecurity and getting my data jacked. Gen Z though, Facebook happened before some of y'all were even born. It ain't your fault. Every generation got problems. You'd think all that experience would make us less acceptable to scams, but unfortunately, that's not the case. Scams evolve just as fast as the internet does. Phishing, farming, spoofing, those are real words. Government imposters, emergency fraud, crypto, Forex, holiday scams, employment scams, romance. Y'all might have noticed that this is a part one. Digital scams have become common to the point where there's far too many to cover in one video. So we're gonna break this into personal and institutional scams. I'm differentiating these like this. Personal scams don't include a larger organization or government institution like the IRS or the federal government. They also don't include global markets like crypto and Forex. Don't worry, we're gonna get to those in part two. I'm gonna lead this off by being a little vulnerable with y'all. I mentioned earlier that I was scammed before, and even though it didn't lose me any money directly, it did damage my professional reputation to an embarrassing extent. I mentioned in a previous video that I've been a rapper for a decade. I'm not that fond of social media these days, but back then, I was on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all that. One morning in late 2018, I woke up and tried to log into my Cam James official Facebook page. And if you know anything about how pages work, you usually just click into it after logging into your personal profile. I no longer had access to my page for whatever reason, and I saw this profile pic and header instead of mine. If it stopped there, I would have been irritated. What happened immediately after was the biggest problem though. This hacker started posting hardcore porn on my Facebook page. I lost followers, likes. People reached out to me trying to figure out what the was going on. It was humiliating. The hacker's name, which I got after questioning the page's new owner, was Ahmed Mehta. He was posing as an employee of Facebook at the time, and who knows if that's a real name. The only reason I was able to get my page back was because I had a friend at Facebook who helped escalate the issue and get someone on their team to jump in. The damage was done though. I left Facebook permanently after that. I'm still on Instagram, but I deleted that account. That's why I don't have many followers now. I also don't care. None of that is real. Speaking of identity theft, let's Google my name real quick. Hey, YouTube. This number is not accurate. It kind of tells you how often they update this. I'm on IMDb, Spotify. That's not me. That's not me. I don't play lacrosse. This guy's a comedian. Now, for my real name. Yeah, Cam James is a stage name, in case y'all didn't know. I had to add Atlanta, Georgia to the search terms, but as soon as I did that, I found a result. Everything's blurred for obvious reasons, but I found my picture a little further down too. It's not surprising since they're public sites, but still. Data brokers sell your information to scammers, spammers, and anyone else who may want to target you. Your full name, email, home address, health records, your relatives, it's all out there. That's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests for me. See this? I wasn't just saying that, it happened immediately. Cleaning up my info reduces the spam, protects me from hackers like the Facebook incident, plus a whole lot more to keep me safe from the threats I can't see. I hate downloading multiple apps to accomplish something that one app can do. Aura is that one app. They got antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft insurance, and more. Plus, it's affordable. You might have one or two of these tools already, but if you don't have Aura, you're basically locking the front door with the keys under the doormat. I value my security, and as y'all know by now, if you've been watching, I value yours. Hit aura.com/CamJames to get a 2-week free trial and see how much of your info is being sold right now. If I had something like this in 2018, I definitely wouldn't have had my Facebook jacked. To everybody who knew me back then, I sincerely apologize for all the Indian titties.
Don't start panicking, stay calm. Shorty's at the door cause they need more inspiration for their life, they souls, and they songs.
So I already gave you an example of identity theft and gave you a way to fight against it. Now, I want to make sure y'all understand the scope of the problem. In the first half of 2023, Americans reported over 1 million cases to the FTC. Doesn't sound that bad, right? Wrong. Consider the fact that many people are too embarrassed to report, don't know how to report, and most importantly, that every single one of these cases represents someone not only stealing your identity, but actually doing something with it. You don't notice this happens until there's a fraudulent purchase or your password is stolen, etc. This type of fraud can take a bunch of different forms. Social media impersonation, a compromised social security number, falsified documents, somebody stealing your wallet and hijacking your financial identity, and so on and so on. The top states list is gonna shock some of y'all, but I don't think anything can surprise me at this point. Number 1, Georgia. That's where I live. We had 457 reports per 100,000 people in the state, which makes us the hottest spot, bar none. Probably because of Atlanta. Let's be real. Congratulations to the rest of the top 10. Y'all should be proud of yourselves. Side note, I didn't include DC, but they technically win with 478 per 100,000 people. Probably because of all the politicians. Let me give y'all another example of what it can look like and the damage it can do. It really only takes a misplaced wallet to ruin your entire life. This is Lacey, a resident of Oblong, Illinois. She left her wallet on the seat in her unlocked car, and that was it. The thief grabbed the wallet, which had her social security card in it too, and used that with her driver's license to rack up thousands of dollars of credit card charges and get fraudulent loans in her name. One side effect of us being so connected digitally is that it actually speeds up fraud like this. Even though it was fully investigated by the Springfield FBI office and her name was cleared, her credit is still shot. And her daughter struggled to get a driver's license. Even deeper than that, Lacey says she can't trust anybody anymore. She knows it was careless, but honestly, I've done that. I wear sweats a lot and sometimes my wallet just falls out. I lost my wallet on a Spirit Airlines flight last year. Knowing them, they stole it because they need all the money they can get. Next scam type, romance. I've always wanted to do that. I do not apologize. This is almost exactly what it sounds like. You run across somebody on the internet who starts a convo in a pretty innocent fashion. It could be on LinkedIn.
She says she lost $288,000 to a fraudster on LinkedIn.
Facebook.
Tonight we have word Facebook is being used in an elaborate money scheme.
WhatsApp.
In the end, they're out to steal your identity.
Instagram.
So many fake accounts are popping up on Instagram.
Snap, whatever.
Snapchat.
The common denominator for all these scams is one factor that might not become relevant until later. You want to meet in person, and they can't. This FTC article compiled some of the top lines romance scammers use. I'm in the military. I'm on an oil rig or a ship. I'm in the construction industry. And probably most relevant to today's generation, I want to get to know you before showing my face. Many, many women have tried to get me on dating apps with that one. Women. What might surprise you is that these scammers are organized. Most of the time, it's not some solo operator that just decided to target you. There's a whole pyramid-shaped organization that chose you along with hundreds of other people. There's the boss or bosses up top, followed by employees who find the targets, AKA us, and separate employees that do the communication via these catfish profiles. They're professionals, and they know how to get past a lot of people's suspicion. The last piece of the puzzle is a money launderer who, in many cases, doesn't even know that they're a part of this scheme. This is where we meet Glenda.
In 2014, I met the love of my life online, and he told me that he was a U.S. citizen and was working in Nigeria. He asked me for money to help with his business and help leave Nigeria.
Don't laugh. Glenda's trying her best.
Then my love had people send me electronics like cell phones so I could pawn them and send him the money. When I couldn't get the money that he wanted, he asked me to open personal and business bank accounts.
I'm sure there's plenty of people watching this who've been divorced or experienced loneliness that led them to hit dating apps or participate in correspondence. I've been there before, for sure. I'd say the things that could tip you off to these kind of scams have a large overlap with common sense. When their grammar is terrible, they don't want to meet up, they're always making excuses for why they can't do a video call. Stuff like that, red flags. If the convo is getting weird, stop talking to them. I guarantee being alone for a little while longer is a lot better than losing the median amount of $4,400. God damn. Siguiente, fishing and farming. Both of those got a PH. This is not about food. I know y'all heard of the first one, probably not the second one, so let's break it down. Fishing is actually pretty similar to what it sounds like. Scammers dangle some form of bait for you to fall for. Usually that's an email, text, or other message with a link or attachment. Don't download that shit. Don't even click it. As soon as the file hits your computer or phone, you got a virus at best and a delivery of powerful malware at worst. Phishing attacks can hijack your personal information pretty easily because you give it to them. This can look like fake business opportunities, fake collaboration requests if you're an artist, or random social media contacts with links. Y'all gotta watch the links, bruh. Phishing is a widespread and unfocused attack that goes after a large number of victims, but there's a more specific version of it called spear phishing, which targets individual people using info they obtained about you. Okay, that name is fire. What makes it a little more alarming is that they get that info from social media. Not saying y'all need to be afraid of what you put on social media. Actually, yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. I like to think most of us would be immune to this kind of thing, but that's not what the stats say. According to this /Next report covered in a CNBC article from late last year, there was a 1,265% increase in phishing emails that happened alongside the rise of AI. Tech is always advancing and making these kind of attacks much easier. Scammers are using ChatGPT to write these BEC or business email compromise attacks now. The majority of that traffic is aimed directly at stealing your passwords. That brings us directly to farming. This one can technically be an institutional attack, as seen in 2007 when 50 financial organizations got hit. This scam used Microsoft software to send customers to a fake site where they'd download Trojan malware plus a gang of other files from Russian servers onto their computers. They hit 3,000 computers in 3 days. I put these two together because farming often results as the end goal of a phishing attack.
We're brothers.
Once they get you with the bait, one of these malicious programs carry out farming attacks. In a nutshell, this kind of scam changes the DNS settings on your computer or router to redirect you from a legitimate site to a fake one. Okay, DNS is domain name system. How do I explain this? It turns domain names into IP addresses, which allow browsers to get to websites. Anyway, the fake site you got sent to takes your info for them to use against you. There was a crazy example of this in the 2000s called DNS Changer that victimized millions of people. The FBI eventually shut that down by taking control of the DNS servers that the scammers were using, and they called that joint operation Ghost Click. That's so fire. All right, let me stop being an FBI fanboy. Here's how to spot a farming attack. You type in the right URL, and it goes to the wrong site. You get unexpected pop-ups. You're blocked from accessing normal sites because of your browser or antivirus software, or the site's SSL certificate is invalid or expired. How do you find that last one? Top left on Google Chrome. That's the only browser I use. I don't know what to tell you. Expand this box and then check the padlock. Pretty straightforward. Prevention time. Scan your computer periodically. Clear your browser's cache and cookies. If you suspect a fake site, change your login info. There's VPNs, anti-farming software, all that. The FBI is the nuclear option. You can file a report if shit gets crazy. Emotions have played a part in the previous scams, but we're still in the minor leagues as far as urgency goes. Let's look at a couple schemes that operate on panic and pressure. Holiday scams. I don't really buy gifts on holidays anymore unless I'm in a relationship. My family is gonna love me regardless, and quite frankly, I was too broke for that for a long time. Other people stress themselves out every holiday, buying gifts for everybody. Y'all are sweet. That's dope. This type of scam takes advantage of that pressure and turns it against you. Say you're hitting Google to get that watch or leaf blower for your pops. Among all the legit results, there's fake sites that not only take your info, they'll also let you pay them and not deliver what you paid for. This works on the other end too, with sellers not getting paid for their goods. Those two sides of holiday scams accounted for more than $281 million in losses, according to the Internet Crime Complaint Center's 2022 report. One famous feature of holiday scams is the payment method. It applies to more than just holidays, technically, but it heats up in those times of year. They'll tell you they can only accept payment via Target or Best Buy gift cards and try to make you give them the redemption codes on the back of it. This is one of the easiest ways for scammers to transfer money, but they also ask for Western Union, MoneyGram, Cash App, or crypto. To avoid these, I'd watch out for sellers fronting like they're American with shipping addresses or sudden updates about being out of the country, traveling for business, whatever. They could ask for a wire, just as an example. That's a no-go too. Make sure any sites you're shopping on are official or affiliated marketplaces with official brand partnerships. Some knockoff products work, but it isn't worth your security to save some money. If it seems suspect, it is suspect 100% of the time. So I featured an elderly woman earlier in that romance scam section. Yeah, they tend to fall for these types of scams too. Your husband just got robbed on vacation. Your daughter broke her elbow. Your dog just got bit by a raccoon. And I also have the same exact voice as your son. Not a random example. That literally happened to Gary Shieldhorn, an attorney in Philly, when his son hit him up looking for bail money after a car crash. These motherfuckers called this man sounding exactly like his son Brett, saying he hit a pregnant woman and had a broken nose. Then they posed as his public defender and told him to pay using a Bitcoin kiosk. Luckily, Gary's spidey senses went off at that part, so he called his son directly via FaceTime. Clearly, he was fine and told his pops he was getting scammed. Where do they get the info about your family from? Social media. What did you think I was gonna say? These AI programs only need a 3-second clip of your family member speaking, and it's a wrap. They can clone it to the point where you can barely tell the difference, especially when you're in a panicked emotional state. The bottom line is pretty clear here. They want to cause extreme panic and then convince you to give up that money. The FBI couldn't do anything in this case. They said the money has to be sent overseas before they can intervene. I know y'all by now, and at least some of y'all are saying, look, this kind of scam and most of the scams you've mentioned only happen to gullible people. While I admit that common sense is a great first step to protecting yourself from scammers, emotion does crazy things to people. First time my heart got broken, I stared in the corner of my room for hours. I couldn't eat. My breathing was restricted. If a scammer had called me in the middle of all that emotion, sounding like my ex, I can't imagine what dumb shit I would have done. Now, imagine being twice my age, experiencing the sudden emotion of a loved one getting hurt and telling you they need something from you in that moment. Hopefully it makes a little more sense now. In episode 1, I presented a formula called the victim equation that has an extremely high success rate for multi-level marketing companies. A lack of resources plus an overwhelming perceived need minus exposure to the scam equals a target. That applies here as well. These scams are always changing and updating to the times we live in, using technology to become more efficient and more effective, with complete disregard to any moral boundaries an everyday person has. To an extent, most of us get scammed because we would never expect somebody to do this in the first place. Even as I researched this video, As a person who's pretty knowledgeable about audio technology, it blew me away that you could take a clip that brief and recreate something as unique as a person's voice, then use it to scam someone with a decent success rate. I've always been a naturally trusting person since I was a kid. Life made me more skeptical over time, but if you're anything like I used to be, you need to be vigilant and have a healthy level of critical thinking when it comes to anything involving your information or your financial resources. Do not become somebody else's come up. So we're wrapping part 1 up with more suggestions on how to keep all of these from happening to you. It's not gonna take as long as you think. I've said most of them already. Check URLs. Stop clicking and downloading random ass attachments. Report unusual activity. Check for bad grammar in any emails you get. Pick up your wallet if you drop it. Update logins periodically. Use a VPN. There's links to the FTC and FBI articles below if you want to read these in full. I'm not going to talk y'all's heads off. In part 2, we're talking about y'all got the information now. Can't say I ain't tell you.